Are we live? Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. How's it going? Just coming online here to say hello and see how everyone is doing. A little impromptu live stream here because I haven't gone live in a while. We've been very busy with holidays and playing and start of the new year stuff. What do I have to report? It's cold here, all right? It is wintry and icy here in the St. Louis area. Some people are staying put because it's like rainy and icy. Thought we were going to get a bunch of snow, just a bunch of ice. So happy 2024 there, starting with a bang here with an ice storm. And I am here in my natural state here. I think 2024 should be, excuse me while I take my coffee. All right. 2024 should be the year of just getting it done, whatever it is that you need to get done. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Here I am, disheveled and in glasses and hair sticking out because I thought, I could wait until the perfect moment to go live for you all. But why do that? Why wait? Let's just get it done. Let's make 2024 the year of just getting it done. What questions do you have out there, Cello Online community? I've been posting I posted some improv stuff. I posted some Suzuki things. I'm going to be posting a lot more Suzuki book tutorials here in the coming weeks. That is my goal. I actually have some of them already recorded. They just need to be edited down to be posted. I posted one about Allegro this morning, one of my favorite pieces from book one. Well, I love all the pieces. That's why I've been doing this for so long. And I'm having trouble adjusting my cello here. So anyway, ask questions away. What do you guys want to see on the channel here in 2024? What are you struggling with here at the beginning of the year? One thing I could talk about here, all right, maybe I'll change the title after the live stream, is until I get a question here, I will share with you two of my favorite new practice things, right? And actually, I posted the video about Allegro, but I was just having a lesson last night with a student, and I want to share this with you from Allegro, a little practice technique. And I've been doing this in class with my orchestra students, and we were doing it last night in the lesson, and it works beautifully. And it's actually the newer of the two things I'm going to share with you here on the live stream. I have until about 2:25 because I actually have another student coming. But putting a break in between, when you're having trouble playing the right number of notes, okay? Like, for instance, in the Allegro, where we have the sequence section, right? Students often, if this is their first experience with a sequence or first experience with this piece, all right, which is what this is a sequence, and getting the right number of notes and making sure we change that note because it repeats at the beginning of the measure, then it steps down. So my favorite new practice routine is to put a big pause, a big space in between each measure so that you execute a measure and you give yourself time to think, and then you execute another one like this. Here's how we're going to do both instances of the sequence, and if you have your cello, you can play along. But here we go. Just to give myself time to think about what I'm doing, all right? One more time here, all right? It doesn't even have to be a rhythmical space, just a pause, just a little time to think about what you're doing. Awesome. Greetings. If you're just joining us, I'm talking about my two favorite practice things here for 2024. I've been doing them for a few weeks, a few months. I haven't shared a ton about them on the channel, but here's a live stream is a great place to do it. The first one that I'm sharing here is putting a space in there, okay, in between to ensure that you're playing the right number of notes, that you're playing the right notes, period. We've been using it in class. There's a video on the channel called Cutting It in Half, where we're doing a lot of doubles, like, all right, and then you cut it in half, and you do it again, all right? But when you're doing all these repeated notes, keeping up, it can be challenging if you're a beginner or you've just started to know whether or not you've played the right number of notes. Are we playing 1E into 2E into 1E into 2E like this? And so putting a space in it, just like we just did with the Allegro, it works so wonderfully. I mean, I have students who are struggling to play the right number of notes, and then as soon as we do this, as soon as we put this space in, then everybody plays the right number of notes. It's amazing. It's awesome. And why is this a great practice technique? Like, why does it help you in the long run? Well, when we're on stage, the secret, the trick is, the behind the scenes is that the space is getting smaller and smaller and smaller until there is no space, right? We still have the same feeling in our mind. The same preparation still happens mentally, but of course the audience can't see that. And so the idea is that you're keeping that same reset. I like to use the word reset when we're doing this. We're sort of resetting mentally and then moving on to play the next thing. All right? So that mental process is still happening even if the space of time is not. Okay? I absolutely love doing this. It works on so many different things, on so many different levels. One of my favorite new practice things. All right. My other favorite new practice technique is finger patterns. Doing finger patterns, specifically to hot cross buns, right? What do I mean by finger pattern? Maybe you've already done this with some of your book one pieces. You know, like we do Twinkle, we go, and then we do it on different strings. All right, and then we go. All right, if you're just joining us, I'm talking about my favorite practice techniques here to share with you. Finger patterns. So even more powerful is to just do a few notes on one string and then move down. So let's do hot cross buns. And what I want to do is I want to go down a string. All the way down. Now, once I've gotten hot cross buns in my hand, all right, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it in the normal way with the 3-1 open, but then I'm going to use it to help my extensions, okay? And because I have it in my ear so well, it's going to really help me get my extensions in tune. I'll show you. And I could even do this in half position as well. Which I would encourage you to do. Then on the D string. Then G. position. Then first position extension. Then C string. Finger patterns. Half position. First position extension. And once you do all of those, all 12 variations, oh man, your first position intonation feels so good. Your hand feels so good. It just feels like you're just playing so much more in tune, and you are playing more in tune, okay? All right, so if you're just joining me, I'm talking about finger patterns and my favorite practice techniques here to start out 2024 here at the beginning of the year. Greetings from the icy cold St. Louis area. All right, so I just did hot cross buns, and make sure you go back and watch the beginning of the video where I was talking about, I don't know, I have to come up with a name for the other one, the space, the reset method. I don't know, maybe you guys can help me come up with the name of it. All right, then let's get some different half steps going. So that was hot cross buns. That's, of course, all whole steps, right? Let's get some half steps going. I call this cold cross buns. Some people call it burnt cross buns. I don't know. I think cold. I think opposite of hot. But we're playing hot cross buns in minor is what we're doing, all right? So again, let's do it one way all the way down so we really get it in our ear. So we're going to go 2, 1, open. Once I have that, then I can actually cold cross buns is maybe a little bit better for beginners because then I'm not doing extensions, then I'm doing this. So forth and so on. I can do lots of different variations with that. Here's an interesting question. I'm going to paraphrase here. This is a great question. How do I keep a straight bow if I can't see what my bow is doing? All right. Actually, the question is, how does a blind beginner? But it raises an interesting question because we want to be able to keep a straight bow without looking at it. It's a very interesting question. So, of course, when I was in college and a student and thinking about this, of course I use a mirror, which requires you to be able to see what you're doing. But what do I do now? And the truth is, you can hear when the bow is not straight. Of course, having a teacher to help guide you, to help you have that feeling, because it's hard at the angle where we are to be able to see anyway, even when we do have a mirror and camera and all this stuff, all right? So a teacher really, really helps just so we can help guide our bow so we understand what a straight bow feels like. But when the bow starts to curve back and forth, you can hear, all right, you can start to hear when the sound is not focused, okay? There's almost like a little bit of a buzzy sound, almost like something maybe that you wouldn't want. Because remember, we're right above the sound. We're right above the instrument. So sometimes we hear that nasally part of the sound. We hear that little edge of the sound that the audience doesn't hear. And so if I'm really being efficient and cutting the string the way I need to, then the sound is very focused. Another thing you could do that you don't have to see that you can feel is actually just make a circle with your fingers. And actually, I do this in lessons all the time, is take this kind of barrel shape, okay, this target shape, and actually touch the C string. And so what happens is my index finger, if you can see that, my index finger and my thumb are touching the C string, okay? And what I'm paying attention to, excuse me, is the sensation of how bent my wrist is in order to do that, right? Because this is where the bow goes crooked, is that I end up keeping my wrist straight, and then when I bow, if my wrist is straight when I bow, then the bow goes crooked all over the place, right? Okay. I have to bend in order to keep the bow straight, okay? All right, and this, touching these fingers to the C string, is a huge help in learning the angle of the hand. I would ask that of the person that posted the question, that if you can't see, I guess my first question would be, how do you know the bow's not straight? How do you know that it's crooked? Maybe it's more straight than you think. But I would love to hear that. But I hope that helps, okay? Because you can touch, you can feel your index finger and thumb on the C string, okay? But beyond that, you have to feel this bend in your wrist, right? And that's helpful. I love answering the question because that's helpful for anyone to do, okay? To feel this bend in the wrist, all right, in order to help keep the bow straight. Because that's the number one reason why the bow goes crooked, is that we keep our wrist straight, which of course forces us to bow in an arc. And for the bow to go straight, my wrist has to bend and give like this in order to keep the bow perpendicular to the string, parallel to the bridge here. Okay? Love the question. Other questions here. Checking my phone for weather delays, weather cancellations out there. Where's everyone watching from? Got one greeting from Italy. Love it. Greetings right back at you. Thanks for watching. Where's everybody else watching from? As I grab some coffee here. All right. So before I went off on the question, I was talking about the finger patterns. Let me go back to that for just a second. So remember, the real magic of the finger patterns happens when you do multiple patterns on one string and then go down. So when you're doing the cold cross buns, you're going to want to practice it like this. All the strings. We've been doing this in class a lot. I've been practicing it on my own. Everybody's intonation is improving, okay? It is hands down one of the greatest things you can do to help your intonation, okay? All right. All right, there's no other questions. I have to run. I have to go teach a lesson here. Happy New Year. I hope that helps. If you're watching this on the replay, all right, post a question down in the comments. Happy to try to answer that. And I will see you guys soon, hopefully in another live stream. Of course, spring semester always gets super busy. If there are requests, videos, tutorials that you have, put those in the comments. And happy practicing, everybody.